Obsession is proudly supported by Carly and Draggy. Check out the video description to find out the latest discount codes.
Hello guys, welcome back to Car Obsession and welcome to another walk around. This time you join me with the brand new Hyundai Ioniq 6. Now as you can see, the light is fading. This is the last time I'll be charging the car. I thought I'd try and squeeze in a quick walk around video before the light disappears completely. So yes, the image quality will deteriorate a little bit, but this really has been the only time I've had to film this video. Anyway, that aside, yes, the brand new Ioniq 6. So available in two trim levels. You have the premium or you have the ultimate, which is what I have here. This has got a few options. So it's got the transmission blue pearl paintwork. This is the all-wheel drive version as well, which is an extra £3,500. And it also has the digital side mirrors as well. These are a £995 option, I believe. So the car you're looking at in front of you is £55,700. Now the Ioniq 6 has a starting price of a little over £47,000 if you want to have the rear-wheel drive version of the premium. So of course, let's talk about power, because this is the all-wheel drive version. It has 325 horsepower along with 605 Newton meters of torque. If you prefer that in pound-feet, I will of course drop a subtitle below. 0 to 62 for this version comes in just 5.1 seconds, and the top speed, I know a little bit irrelevant in the UK, is 115 miles per hour. Now of course, what you really want to know is the range. So you can achieve up to 338 miles. And I've found the range to be pretty consistent. I'll be honest with you, I've not had this at 100%, so I can't tell you how accurate the range is from a full charge. I almost said a full tank then. But yeah, I drove this from Worthing to Caffeine and Machine, which is near Stratford-upon-Avon, and the range was yeah, it was consistent, and at no point did I have any of the dreaded range anxiety. Now whilst I'm at the back, let me show you the boot space. So the button is just there. The boot isn't the largest, but you get 401 litres to play with, so yeah, it's a fair amount of space. You do also get a front trunk, or if you're British like me, a front boot, which is a little bit pathetic if I'm going to be honest. If I just open it up like so, just need to find the catch. So that is your front storage, which I believe is 14.5 litres. Yeah, a little bit pathetic if I'm going to be honest. Now of course, one of the large talking points of this car is the design. I think it's going to be very Marmite. Now I've had this car for almost a week now and I still can't make my mind up. Front end, I think yes, it looks good. The side profile, if I come this way, I think the side profile is probably this car's best look. So if I just come down like so, now this car is very, very aerodynamic. It has a co-drag efficient of just 0.21, so very slippery. It cuts through the air like a hot knife through butter. Where things start to go wrong, in my opinion at least, is the rear end. I'm not sure on it. Now of course the light is fading, but you can still get a decent look at it. I don't know, it looks squashed. I think that's the best way of putting it, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Yeah, of course, styling is and always will be divisive. So let me take you into a less controversial area, which is, of course, the interior. Now you have two options. You can either have black upholstery, or in this case, a creamy white. I think the black I think it makes much more sense because this car has only done about 5,000 miles and already it's got some marks on the leather. Well, I'm pretty sure this is vegan leather with it being an EV, but you might not see it on camera. Now, the naked eye can pick it up, but already there's discoloration. Now, it might just need a good clean, but you can probably see there's just a slight colour difference. So you can tell where this has picked up a bit of dirt. I just think the black makes more sense in my opinion. But that's personal opinion. Now, I'm going to step into the rear momentarily just because I want to show you how spacious it is. Well, at least for legroom, headroom, not so much. So as always, the driver's seat has been set for me. I'm 6'2", so I am of course a taller chap. But even so, look at this. Actually, I need to take my voice recorder out because the volume dial often moves when I get in and out of a car, and it means that, yeah, my audio gets ruined. Yeah, this voice recorder isn't the greatest, if I'm going to be honest, but just look at that. That is, I mean, knee room and leg room for days, for absolute days. The downside though is, well, headroom. Now this has got a swooping roofline, and as such, yeah, if you're a taller person like me, headroom in the rear will not be very kind to you. Now it may be a bit of a squeeze to fit 3 adults in the rear, but you'll be pleased to know, well, the middle passenger will be pleased to know there's no tunnel going down the middle of the car, and you have a completely flat floor. Let me turn the light back on. Yeah, you have a completely flat floor. Whilst I'm here, you've got 2 USB ports, they're Type-C, a little bit of storage here, you've got netting for a bit of added practicality. The door bins aren't the biggest, but you can fit in a 500ml bottle. You have this weird cubby hole here, which I'm pretty sure I saw Matt Watson from Carwell put a smartphone in here, but yeah, it's a bit of a strange one, but yeah, never mind. You do have heated seats for the outer rear seats, which is handy. The person in the middle will have to go with the cold, will have to make do with the cold bum in the winter, and in the middle you have an armrest with 2 cup holders. I don't think that you've got a feed-through hatch. No, that's a little bit disappointing, although I'm trying to work out whether these seats are 60-40 or 40-20-40. Let me just investigate. Oh. Now, in regards to charging times, I will probably have to drop them as a caption because I can't remember them off the top of my head. But I believe if you use a charger that's up to 350 kilowatts, you can get this from 10% to 80% in about, I think it's something mad, like 15 minutes. If you use a 50 kilowatt charger, the same result will take you, I think it's about 70 minutes. And if you use a 11 kilowatt charger, you're looking at 7 hours, 10 minutes to get from, I think that's from 0 to 100. Anyway, rear seat. So if I pull that, well, that's good, isn't it? Nothing's happened. Am I just being a bit thick? Pull. I am pulling. Nothing's happening. Well, I can't tell you whether they're... I mean, it's probably user error, but... Ah, there we go. Yep. They are 60-40. I'm quite surprised by that. I thought it might have been 40-20-40. Right, let's close the boot down. Now, not only is headroom a little bit limited in the rear, it's also quite limited in the front as well. Now, the driver's seat is set to its lowest. Right, again, let me just make my way inside. But if I turn you guys around, you'll see I haven't got a lot of space to play with, and I'm really surprised by that. I think the fact that this has got a sunroof doesn't help because all the gubbings and the mechanism takes up extra room. But yeah, so if you're quite a tall driver, I mean taller than me, you may want to give this car a miss, which is a pity because you're missing out on what is a very good EV. Now, one thing that's quite intriguing, well, quite a few things. Oh, this camera's running out of battery. But these lights on the steering wheel, they interact depending on what's happening with the car. So as you can see, they are flashing green because the car's charging. Speaking of batteries, I need a new one for my little camera. So I'll be back in a few moments.
A few minutes later.
Right, I am back. So yes, light is rapidly fading, but the lights in here are quite bright, so we should be okay. So fire up the car. So you have the digital door mirrors instead of conventional ones, and it takes a while to get used to these. One of the reasons is, by nature, I've been driving for many years, you instinctively want to look there and go, oh no, there's nothing there, or nothing you can actually view. So it takes a while to adjust your kind of equilibrium, that's a posh word, to look here instead. Now the gripe I have with these cameras is that they're quite zoomed in. I know it's quite dark, you can't really get an idea, but I will cut to a clip where you can see it a bit better. And it's really disorientating. I was trying to reverse into a bay at Caffeine and Machine, and other people must have thought that I just passed my driving test because it took me 3 stabs at it because, yeah, it's all a little bit discombobulating. Right, anyway, you have a large touchscreen, 10.25 inches. Of course, you have many functions, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, navigation. If I turn the car on, I can't put it into reverse because it's in charging, but what I can do is hit the cameras. So you have a rear reversing camera, of course. You've also got a front facing camera as well. Don't think I can trigger that here. Hang on a minute. No, I can do that. I can do that. But one thing I can do is look at that. Oh, swanky. Reminds me of the Audis. And of course, you've got an all-round monitor there as well. Let's back out of that. You've got lots of safety kit, some of which is quite distracting. So it gives you a bong when the speed limit changes, which is quite helpful if you're driving in an area that you don't know. But one would argue that a good driver shouldn't need that. And if you happen to stray over the speed limit, it goes bong, bong, bong. So yeah, the safety systems are good, but they can sometimes serve as more of a distraction. You have heated front seats and a heated steering wheel, which at this moment in time I don't need because it's still quite warm in the UK. Dual zone climate control, which is a little bit out of focus because yeah, the camera is struggling with light somewhat. Yeah, you've got lots of features. Very impressed with what this has. Yeah, lots of safety features, some of which, like I say, are a bit distracting. This car, as standard, has got the front relaxation seat. So if I hit this button and then hit it again, look at that. It's like a dentist's chair, isn't it? And if you'd like to rinse now, Mr. Elaine Wake. Right, and then you can do that. Now, I actually lived in this car for 24 hours, and that function was quite handy. So you have that for the passenger seat, but also the driver's seat. So if you want to have a little bit of a relax whilst you're waiting for the car to charge, that's quite a handy feature. In regard to practicality, you don't get a glove box. It's more of a glove drawer. It's got a decent amount of space, as you can hopefully see. One thing before I forget to mention, I really like the ambient lighting. Yeah, you have ambient lighting, which in real life doesn't flicker like that. It's just how the camera picks it up. So in normal mode, you have a nice soothing blue. In red, you get much more. In sport, you get a much more sporty, aggressive red. And in eco, you get a more serene green. Now you do actually have a snow mode. So you hit the drive mode button, then hold it, and it gives you a purple light. So yeah, so here are the driving modes. So yeah, pretty straightforward. Eco, normal, sport, and hold for snow. I mean, I'd argue you probably don't need that, but never mind. Let's pop it back into normal. You have a wireless phone charging pad as standard, which I must be honest, hasn't worked for my S22 Ultra. So a bit of a strange one. Have a USB port there, an old school one. Then underneath the center armrest, you have two Type-Cs in there, hiding in the darkness. Got a very large storage area down here. Let me get these lights turned on. Got a very large storage area down there, which you can't really see. There we go, that's a bit more like it. The door bins aren't the biggest, they are a little bit disappointing, but you can fit a 500ml bottle in there. One feature I do really like on this car are the pedals, which are too dark. I'll have to cut to a clip, but the brake has got a minus sign on it, whereas the accelerator has got a plus sign on it. A nice quirky touch, but I like that. You have a Bose sound system, which sounds fantastic. And yeah, you've got plenty of kit. Now, it's getting to the point where, yeah, let's be frank, the video quality is dropping because the light isn't fantastic. So it will be bringing things to a close rather shortly. Forgot to mention, you do get a sunroof as well, which does open. That's a nice feature. Yeah, this car's got plenty of kit, and I can't really think of anything that this car hasn't got that I'd want, if that makes sense. I mean, a massage function for the seats would be nice, but this is although I would argue it's punching above its weight in regards to what it offers. This isn't an Audi or a Porsche, so expecting massage function in the seats, I think, is just pushing the envelope a little bit too far. How are we doing for charging? So we're 7 minutes left to 80%. I arrived here with 44%, I believe, and yeah, it's charged quite quickly. This charger is a 70 kilowatt charger as opposed to a 50. But yeah, I charged this at the grid surf in Braintree yesterday. 350 kilowatts. Yeah, very, very impressive. Getting a good, comfortable driving setup is easy. The steering wheel has got plenty of adjustment. Oh, hang on a minute. It's stiff. There we go. So no complaints there. And of course, the driver's seat has got electronically adjustability to it. Therefore, yep, getting comfortable is very easy. And even better, you actually have a memory function. I've found nowadays in quite a lot of new cars, they are kind of sacrificing memory functions. I don't know if that's because of the shortage of microchips, but yeah, it's nice to actually have a new car with a memory function. For me, it makes no odds because I'm the only person driving this car. But if you were to have this car and you wanted to share it with your spouse or someone else in the family, having that memory function is going to be dead handy. Anything else to report? I don't think so. I mean, there's plenty to speak about on this car. I just want to kind of give you a walk around because in my main video with this car, there's probably a few things that I not necessarily overlooked, but a few things that I didn't quite have enough time to speak about because I had so much content to squeeze into one video. Spoken about the practicality. Yeah, spoken about the features. I mean, this car has got so many features, I probably inevitably have missed off a few. But yes, if you've noticed the paddles on the steering wheel, they aren't for the gearbox, of course. They are to increase or decrease the strength of the regenerative braking. And this does have the I pedal, which is similar to Nissan's E pedal, whereby, in theory, you can drive the car on just the accelerator. 2 cup holders in the middle, which I haven't spoken about. Oh, actually, there's one thing I want to have a gripe about. This is a very picky thing, but this is the key. Now, it looks and feels very cheap, but let me just try and get it into some kind of focus. Yeah, it doesn't even look like a car key, does it? I hope you can hear that. It's very plasticky. It's not the kind of key I would expect for a car of this class. And it actually hasn't got any branding on it, which is really strange. A friend of mine, he said rather crudely that it looks like a kind of pocket rocket, a kind of something you'd get from, yeah. You get what hopefully you get what I mean. If you don't get what I mean, let me know in the comment section, and I'll let you know. I'll describe what I mean. But yeah, it looks like it looks like something that should go somewhere discreet and should vibrate. That's all I'm saying on that one. Right. Yes, I think that's everything to say on this car. I think that's probably a good note to finish on. The car's almost charged, 76%. Make sure it's all nice and charged for when it goes back to Hyundai tomorrow. One thing I haven't mentioned are the headlights. Of course, they're LED, but if I'm not mistaken, they've got what I would call a matrix system to them, like the Audis. Because when I've had this on high beam at night, I've actually noticed the beam pattern changing as cars have been approaching me, or as I'm getting behind cars that are in front of me. Yeah, impressive stuff. This is quite a quirky car, and I think it won't be for everyone. Personally, if I were to head down this road, I would probably go for the Ioniq 5. It's a bit more practical, it's more spacious, and I think it looks better. But of course, that's merely personal opinion. But as you can see, the night is pretty much upon us. It's actually darker than what the camera is making out, because this camera is fairly good in low light. So yes, time for me to end. Well, I'll say it's good in low light, and then it just struggles to focus. I know it's been a little bit of a impromptu walk around, and I know the lighting conditions aren't ideal, but really and truly this was the only time I had to film it, so it was either do it now or not do it at all, and I'm sure many of you would have preferred for me to do it. Anyway, I do hope you have found this video useful or enjoyable. If so, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. But until the next time guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession.